I want to ask you about one of those reforms that you just made a reference to that's within the last 2 years. And last week when I was asking you some questions about this, I received an email that said that there was a January 2015 initiative in which ACS took families that had repeat complaints, I'll call them, allegations, and put them under a kind of enhanced review. So my question, I have two parts to the question. The first part is, was this family, the Perkins family, put under that initiative? And number two...
Right now, I want to answer your question, but I'm just going to remind you that's an obvious example of the kind of question we can't. We're not going to be able to answer anything about the specific trajectory of this family in the context of an investigation by the district attorney. But do not forget, the district attorney has made clear that they're going to be speaking to the individuals involved, and that we have to, for that reason, not address certain matters, and then beyond that, because of confidentiality laws governing the situation, and that is on the advice of corporation counsel, and that's how we make our decisions.
Okay, so then let me follow up in a policy. We'll go away from the Perkins family for a second, and then I would point out to you the May 2016 DOI report, which specifically singled out ACS's ability to deal with these repeat complaint families, I'll call them. And they said that there were some, pretty serious issues with that, including always assigning the same person to go back to the family again and again, and that created a conflict of interest, and ACS accepted DOI's reform, but as of today, that has not been implemented.
I saw in some of the news reporting connection of realities, in this case, alleged connection, in this case, with the DOI report. So again, an area that's not going to address directly for the same reason. What we can address very forthrightly is the waves of reform and the implementation of each. So I'll just do my initial framing, and then Dr. Blasio can fill in the blanks. There are three obvious examples. The reform package that we announced in this room after the death of Miles Dobson. The reforms proposed by DOI, which we agreed to most of, not all of, and we can talk about that, and we can talk about the level of implementation. And then the reforms proposed by the controller, same scenario we agreed to most of, and we're going to talk about now, the extent of the implementation. I think what you'll see very quickly is if you say, okay, you can add them up, and here's this many reforms, I think it was 7 after 9, sorry, after Miles Dobson, the ones from the DOI report, the ones from the control report. Overwhelmingly, those reforms have been implemented or are on the verge of being completed in their implementation. Again, we're not going to connect the dots specifically to this case. Why don't you just call the roll on that?
Sure.